Okay, everyone. So today we're going to be talking about buildings of the Reign of Christ. So this is where it gets interesting, as usual. So this building here, this is I forget the name. It is. Let me tell you. It is. It is Chateau de Miron-sur-Yverdon, whatever that is, French. That's the building you're looking at right there. Located in Centreville de l'Euroregion, it was the residence of several kings and queens of France, and has witnessed many historical events. Joan of Arc came to stay here several times during September and December 1429. Of course, after the enemy was set loose during the late 1400s, early 1500s, to the present, the chateau was ravaged and looted, of course. Many of its roofs and towers were destroyed, and what is left of it remains a ruin. During the 18th century, it was then turned into a stone quarry. So, but the castle can be seen in that book there, which I'm not going to pronounce. Okay, fine. Les Tres Riches something. I'm not saying it. Anyway, there we are. So that's this right here. And as you can see, that's all that's fucking left of it. Now that is disappointing. Yeah, man. What a beautiful building it was. Look at that. This is a different one. Let's go. Okay. Okay. So they're not in order. But that's fine. This is a German or Austrian castle. Yeah, Castle Neutraverstein. So probably Austrian. I mean, just look at the fucking thing. I mean, how do you even go about building that on top of this mountain here? How do you get a man to place a brick down in that crevice securely so that you can then place another and another and another until you have a place for the actual building to stand on? How do you even do that? I mean, sure, there's a way. When there's a will, there's a way. But in my mind, I cannot comprehend the level of technical finesse that you need to create a structure such as this in the time that it was said to have been built. So I don't know. So here we have another drawing. Windmill. Old world Reign of Christ windmill that is in disrepair, of course. In despair and disrepair. With stairs going all the way down as well. Very interesting. Now, you wouldn't know this is a drawing, but it is. It's I don't know who drew this, but... Oh, hang on. That guy. Yeah, that guy there. I mean, look at this drawing. Good lord. I mean, the building's great, but this drawing is... incredible. I can't even begin to just tell you. Wow. Here we have St. Paul's Cathedral, which is an anomaly. A bit of an anomaly, because here's the thing. St. Paul's Cathedral was, of course, burned down in the 1666, which is 666, fire of London. And the original St. Paul's Cathedral looked like this. This is the original St. Paul's Cathedral. So, And this would be from the reign of Christ. So I'm saying, if this was in London, and the St. Paul's Cathedral here that you see is also in London, then the common narrative that this one burned down and that they built... Shut up, PC. And that they rebuilt St. Paul's Cathedral as the one you see today stands the test of time. Very good. The narrative seems correct there. But where it gets iffy is the fact that how the fuck can you do that in the 16 and 1700s? How can you just go, oopsie daisy, well, that building burnt down. Let's get our horse and wagon and our hand and chisel, and let's get, shall we say, 2 to 400 people on site building the place at any given time. Okay, and then they just construct this. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Alright. It's plausible, but not possible. Let me show you what 400 people in a room looks like. This is 400 people in one room. So you're telling me they rebuilt, even better, St. Paul's Cathedral in London with this many people at any given time, hand and chisel, horse and cart, mud and dirt in the 16 and 1700s. Alright, mate. Yeah. Alright. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. So, yeah. Anyway, here we have an equally beautiful building. This is Blenheim Palace. Blenheim Palace. Blenheim Palace, it's... Well, there's the organ. I mean, come on. This palace has to be pretty fucking special to have an organ inside it of the reign of Christ. I mean, come on. Anyway, that's not part of it. Blenheim Palace. Where's Blenheim Palace? Oh, yeah, this is part of the organ, by the way. There we go. There's a good look at that. Let's just zoom in on that. There we are. Take a look at that. I mean, I don't know. I don't know, man. Yeah, reign of Christ. Has to be. Anyway, here we have. This one is Alcazar Castle in Segovia. So, very nice. St. Paul's. This is St. Augustine in Agon or Argon, whatever. Again, you have but here's the thing, because it's worldwide architecture. And the reign of Christ is everywhere because it's worldwide architecture. You go to China, go to Germany, you find the same fucking structures. You go from one place to the other, you find the same thing. So, this is Longleat. Here we are. This is also in the book that I have down here, which is the Les Tres Riches Russes du Duc de Berry. And yes, so here you have two giant people, bigger people, who are glorified saints. And here, there we are. This is I'm not sure what palace this is, but still, probably part of the reign of Christ. And again, I mean, okay, well, where do I even begin with this image? Um, this is like an entire library's uh worth of documentation. This is an entire library right here. I could speak about this for hours. Just here. Yeah, I don't even know where you begin. That's crazy. That's crazy. Okay. Here another castle. This is Hochstewitz. Oh, we're going down to Hochstewitz Castle tomorrow in Austria. Oh. Okay. Longleat again. So now listen here. Now listen here. Now listen here, lad. Look. It's changed again. You go and look. This now sure. This could be tan colored. I don't know. But it could be white. It could be a lovely pure white. We don't know. A lot of the churches of the medieval era, the poorer ones, the ones that were... See, this is where it gets difficult again, because the poorer churches, they were built with shitty brick and then covered with white plaster to look good. That is true. That is irrefutable. So, of course, the reign of Christ is it's the most hidden thing, I believe. It's the most hidden thing. But here we have, look. This is not here anymore. Whatever little village thing, whatever area this does not exist now. This is a parking lot now. All right? None of that existed. None of that exists now. So, that doesn't exist. This wall doesn't exist. The stairs are different. So, if they can change that, they can change anything. That's the same image, actually, just closer. That's a terrible image. I'm going to delete that. Again, here we go. Here is Longleat. And I believe this is the back of the house. So, yeah, this is the back of the house. So, this shows that they did in fact build the... If you're familiar with Longleat, by the way. Yeah, so this probably shows that they did actually build the Orangery, which now stands right about here during the 1700s. That is possible. They did build things in the 1700s. They did. That's true. But on a mass scale, such as this, I do not believe. So here we have the garden. And now here's the thing. The technology, which is unanimous across almost every single palace, mansion, and building like this, from the old world, or the reign of Christ, has the same garden architecture, the same rivers and canal systems, the same fountains, the same lines of... I'll show you in a minute. Lines of trees like circuits. Let me show you that. If I can find it here. Let me show you. This is Longleat, right? Look at this. Look at this. That is a circuit. That doesn't exist today. This doesn't exist today. This is all gone. Whatever that is, I don't even think that exists. That's a circuit. And you have lines coming out in each direction. You have a thing there. This doesn't exist today. All of this is gone. Everything. All of this is gone. All of that's gone. Everything. So here, look. So here, okay, hang on a minute. This is strange. If I go, hang on a minute. If I go back here, look. Not there. Right here. All right. This then is kind of fucked up. This is not done right, because these houses should be on that side, because from the back, if we look, let me show you. This is from the front. This is the front of the house, and that's the back of the house. They should be here, right here, but they're over there. Anyway, so you see what I mean? It's like sort of strange manipulation of the depictions of these houses. But here, look, you have the fountains. You have... Now, I had this theory about these fountains coming up like this all the time. And I saw the chimneys and I thought, now it may sound stupid, but what if for some reason these fountains are water chimneys? I know it sounds silly, but just think about the concept for a minute. A water chimney. I'm not sure what it would be used for, but if you're using water energy, something in the water, something very powerful with water, the whole system is ether and water technology with spires and fountains, right? And canals of water and windmills and things like that. You know, it's all free energy. So either these are generating power, because the pressure that these fountains created, how fast and whatchamacallit, they came up, is crazy for the time. You know, during the 1700s, they were using. Obviously, you know, they had probably turned off a lot of the technology that was around during the time of the reign of Christ that was left behind. Because, of course, you know, in the 1500s, you know, James Thane comes along, purchases the place after something happens, you know. Oh, there's a fire, burns it down, rebuilds something else, you know. So, either there was no fucking fire, and it's a code word for something, or there was a fire, and but he burned down, you know, more of what was there. I'm not sure. But yeah, water chimneys. There's a massive, massive one there, 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 and a thing down there. Now, this down here acts as an obelisk, which you see also in Stourhead House, and at the end of tons of other houses. You have the house itself, a long road, and then an obelisk with the circuit and the thing coming to the house. So, I don't know what they could be, but there's definitely uses for all of them that we don't know anymore. So, here we have ruins. And that's the same place there. Here's the obelisk. This is what is this? I think this is inside the Blenheim Palace, I believe. See, these here, these sort of tapestry things are recreations in the style of the medieval tapestries that we see from Longleat House, which I also think has something to do with the original owners of the houses. Here we have the Vatican, of course. Gotta have the Vatican. And let me see. Let me just get my water a moment. Okay. So, oh, that's that. So there we are. That's that there. Let me go. So those are the buildings. So I did some research. as you know. And turns out, I think I have a theory or two about the original dating, or how to date the buildings that you see properly, or more accurately, going on the basis of the reign of Christ, right? So, there's the tapestry I was talking about, by the way. See, this is in Longleat House, you can see. Now, this could be depicting Longleat. I don't know. This could be something to do with Longleat House itself. I don't know. Probably not. But if it is, if there's any hints towards that, well, there we are. That's another nod. And again here, look. What's this one? This looks to be in the same place. There's a tower and a bridge there. Interesting. Anyway, here's the fireplace. I might as well just let you look at this. So this is weird. A clock and a compass. I don't know what that would be for. But up here you have like the scarab beetle wing. These are basically angel wings. This is the two magnetic fields, which is why you see things in sort of double Polaris. It's magnetic fields. Look, two pillars, two whatchamacallits. Sure, it's uniformity, but they could have just put one big pillar on each side, but they put two specifically with the ionic columns there. So yeah. This has the original metal backing of sheet metal here, because it wasn't actually lit on fire. It was hot and cold. Whatchamacallit. Okay. Here is about Longleat Priory, which we do need to talk about if we're gonna get into what I'm gonna talk about here. So let me take a swig of water. Pardon me. Okay, now I am reinvigorated. Longleat Priory was a priory near Warminster, Wiltshire, in the south of England. Okay, this is from Wikipedia. A short-lived... we're reading Wikipedia, basically. A short-lived priory was established and dissolved near to Longleat, okay, in the 12th century. The main priory was established before 1233... funny number, anyway, and was under the control of the Dean of Salisbury until its dissolution, 1529, which is just before the whatchamacallit. The site is currently occupied by Longleat House. So you see here, they're taking a truth, which would be, let's say the truth is that Longleat House was already there during the 1200s, right, and was built then, and is now then called a priory, and so, and I'll get to it. Right, so here we are. So the first Augustinian canons at Longleat established themselves in the 12th century at Langley, in Selwood Forest, approximately 2 miles from the current Longleat House. In it, now I'm saying that this could be talking about the original history of the actual fucking place. Before the Little Season, in which James Thane, who took the house for himself and his family, came along. From the current Longleat House in a priory dedicated to St. Mary. Now, see, it says... St. Mary. This establishment did not last long, however, and following its demise, the manor of Langley at St. Alga's Chapel were transferred to Chester Abbey, and a second priory dedicated to St. Radgund, who is a female queen, St. Radgund, was established at Longleat. So, see, here we have this, again, this hagiography stuff about the saints. So it was, the priory at Longleat was dedicated to St. Radgund. Okay, it could have been dedicated. Or did St. Radgund or other saints of the reign of Christ have something major to do with this house, as they did with all the other massive palaces, which were important for agriculture and farming and for many other things during that time. Anyway, was established in Longley on the site of the current location of the house at some point before 1235. Interesting. Well, we've got a date there. There's a date. Although the exact date is unknown, okay, the priory was endowed by with lands in Sealwood Forest by Sir John Vernon, who is thought to be the founder of the priory. So, Sir John Vernon. Okay, maybe it was built originally by him in the 1200s. All right, we're getting somewhere here. We're getting somewhere. Who is thought to be the founder of the priory? Sir John also made a donation of 4 acres of land in Anstey by 1257. By 1257, the priory had acquired lands at Bay Cliff in Horningsham, that's hard to pronounce, and by 1291 had acquired further lands in Longleat and Staunton in Wiltshire, and land in Batcombe, Laverton, Lullington, and Nunney. There's a castle in Nunney as well, by the way, if you didn't know. All in Somerset. In 1291, it is recorded that this land provided the priory with an income of £5. That's interesting. The priory acquired further lands, again, pretty rich for acquiring more fucking land, by a donation from Robert Lee Bore in 1324. He gave lands at Anstey. Okay, that's more at the same place. More at the same place of Anstey. Codford Hill, Devon Hill, Longshore. So, Warminster, the priory appears to have been very small. Okay. During the reign of King Richard II. Okay. So that's later on. Priory is recorded to be recorded as home to a prior. Okay. At the same time, Richard Axbridge and 5 other canons. But the priory's income does not appear to have been adequate to support even so few. So basically, they're creating a story here that, so the reason why the priory stopped and they built the house of whatchamacallit with James Thane is because there were inadequate funds. Well, that's a nice story. That's a nice story, but I don't believe that. So here we have the theory that I'm proposing. Proposing? I don't know. Is that the right word? I don't know. Here's the theory. In other words, when you research a building, such as Stourhead, such as Longleat, such as Blenheim Palace, and you go online and you search up, what was there before this building was built? 99% of the time, and listen close, 99% of the time, it is a building or structure or palace or hunting lodge or something like that dates from the 1000s to the 1400s during the reign of Christ. So I'm proposing, and here we have a list, that all of these buildings were built during the reign of Christ, and the real dates in which they were built are based on buildings that, they say were built before the current structure. So in the 1500s, they come along and they lie and they say, we built that. Yeah, we built that. So what about the original dating? Well, say it was something before the creation of this building. So if you use that logic and you go on that basis, here we have a list. And things start to come together. Here we go. So Longleat House, 1233, owned originally by the Church of the Saints. Stourhead House, owned originally by the Staunton family. Wallerton Hall, 1200s. Blenheim Palace, 1129. Temple Newsam, 1155. Hampton Court, 1236. Chatsworth House, 1400s. Newby Hall, 1200s, owned originally by the Newby family. Babington House, 1275. Also, owned originally by the Butler family, or the Butler family. Rest Park, 1280. The Old House, demolished by Earl de Grey in the 1830s because it was in despair. Okay. Belton House, 1086. The estate, located in Lincolnshire, had a long history of occupation, including Roman and Anglo-Saxon settlements, and was recorded in the 1086 Domesday Book as having a manor house, a church, and 5 mills. In 1086, a manor house. Oh, Belton House. Oh, okay. Fair enough. So there we go. Belvoir, or I don't know how to pronounce that, castle, 1067, of course, that's known. Sometimes they're known, they have to be known. Brampton de Eversey, 1200s, originally called Burniton, and mentioned also in the Domesday Book, 1086, consisting of small buildings. Well, that's got to be changed then. Consisting of small buildings, a farm, and a hamlet. Obviously, family has purchased the estate in 1220, establishing a capital dwelling with the gardens and the church. Okay, Stanway House, 715 until the look, Stanway House, 715 until the dissolution of the monasteries, after which Richard Tracy acquired the lease in 1533. 33 again. Doddington Hall, 1300s. Athelhampton, 836 or 1485, not sure. Penhurst Palace, 1341. And there we are. So here you see, as a reference, just how often and repeatable it is to acquire a date for these palaces and mansions from the years of the reign of Christ. So, I don't think I have anything more to say right now. There we go. If you enjoyed, please do like and subscribe, as it were. And also, if you are lonely as fuck and need friends who are also like-minded and not stupid, please feel free to join my Discord server. That is in the link in my YouTube description. Okay? Bye-bye!